Hello Campfire Crew, my name is Sarah. If you're new here, welcome on in. And if you're returning, welcome back, Embers. So today is my first update of Pan Those Eyeshadows for 2023, my first full year of panning my eyeshadows. And I'm so excited to share this unbelievably good update with y'all. I am so excited. If you're new around here, I do pan those eyeshadows. I also talk about books that I love. I talk about music, and I just kind of do videos that pique my interest. So some of those include I'm working on a video about a 10 by 10 project, which is a clothing project, and just kind of anything that piques my interest. So today, let's just get into it. Let's start with my Divina. So the way this works, if you haven't seen my intro, is I'm rolling in 3 shades for my Divina palette, and I'm using those each 5 times to roll them out. And then I'm rolling in 2 from my Carnival 3 because these are the only 2 palettes I own. And I'm trying to hit pan on these or use them 15 times. So we're gonna start with my Divina shades, which my palette looks like this. So beautiful. Okay. So the shades that we had in this palette this time, we'll start with Majesty. So Majesty is this gold shimmer right here. It's so beautiful. And of course, this is the first shade I reached for because it is my favorite shade in this palette, and the shimmers are absolutely fucking stunning. So I use this a lot at the beginning of the month. I actually filmed my intro about a week and a half before the month ended, which is about the amount of time I'm giving myself this time as well. So I use this, I believe, exactly 5 times. Yeah, I use this 5 times. I've used this palette in total 50, 60, 70, 80, 92 times. So I'm almost at that 100 mark. That is a sub goal of this project that I really didn't talk about last year, but my goal is to reach 100 uses on this palette and the other one, which we're getting really close to, and I'm very excited. So yeah, this is getting rolled out because I have used it that 5 times. The reason it's 5 uses is because these pans are extremely deep, and so I don't feel like I'm gonna pan them, so I just wanna get use out of everything. So the next pan that I was working on, and the next one that I hit my goal on, spoiler, is this dark green shade. And the dark green matte is called Patina. And it's just this really grungy dark green, and it was really fun to work with. Of course, I used this 5 times, and so it's getting rolled out of the project. The next shade I used, and the last one I used, in fact, the last time I'm wearing it is on my eye look today, is Nemesis, this red wine, and I've used this 5 times as of today. So this is the last day. I forgot to put on mascara. Whatever. This is the last time I'm wearing it because I finally hit my 5 uses as of today, and I'm really excited about it. I absolutely love this shade. These 3 that I got in my first round are some of my favorites in the palette, other than just like, I love the shimmers, but these are particulars that these 2 mattes are ones I particularly love for the mattes. But yeah, I use this in this kind of look twice now, and it just makes a really nice deepening out the crease shade, especially for red looks or purple looks. So that's how I used it, and I really loved it. So I use all of these 3 times, so we're going to be rolling in 3 new shades from the Divina palette, and I'm so excited. I actually already know what they are because a couple days ago I couldn't help myself and I rolled in all of my shadows, but we'll talk about that when I tell you about my updates for my Carnival 3 palette. So let me put up a picture of what the palette looked like last month, and then let me show you what it looks like this month. So you may be able to tell some differences in this palette. So the shades that I rolled in last month in my intro were Hibiscus, and I believe I re-rolled in Sand, I had it in last year, but I didn't pan it. And as you can see, both of these shades are panned. So let's talk about sand first, because I did use this. My usage goal for this palette was 10 times last year because I didn't know how many uses I would need to hit pan on these. Now I know, so my usage goal is 15. And sand I used 10 times last year, and in this project I used it 5 times to hit pan for a total of 23 times. And it has this really nice dip. I used quite a large blending brush on this, which meant when I finally hit pan, it's a decent sized pan. It's not quite as big as Mango, but it is quite large. And if I used this another time or two, I think it would expand the pan really quickly to about like a pretty big pan. It could get pretty easily, I think. So I'm really excited about that and how big the pan is. And that means we're rolling in one new shade from this. And then of course we're rolling in a second, because as you might be able to see, there is a small pan in Hibiscus. I don't know why I didn't remember what it was called. I just said it. So Hibiscus actually wasn't used that much. I only used it, let me see here. Holy shit, I only used Hibiscus twice to pan it. And in total, I've only used it 9 times. So Hibiscus was very fast. Last year, I got Blaze in my palette twice. And over the summer, I used Hibiscus a lot to do a watermelon look with some of the dark greens and vanilla, which I also had in the project. So I used a lot of Hibiscus pretty much every time I used it. And then when I used it this year, I'm pretty sure I also used it a lot, but the time that I got Hibiscus in to hit pan, I was using a really small blending brush, which tends to dig more and get me a lot of the pans that I have. So yeah, I got this very small pan in Hibiscus. I think if I used it another time or two, I could expand this, but I don't think it would be a huge, huge pan. Also, things I want to note about this palette, while I have you here, is the pan in Blaze has been increased a little bit. So it used to be a tiny pinprick about the size of Hibiscus. I think it might have actually been a little smaller, but I used it today, as you can see in my inner corner, and it expanded the pan to a decent size where when I show you the palette, it's more obvious that I've hit pan without having to do the thing I do with Hibiscus where I'm like, oh, you can't really see pan, let me just do this so you can see how shiny it is in there. So now it's a much more visible pan, which I'm really excited about. Another thing I want to bring up is pan percentage, which I actually forgot to look at. So let me get that number. Let me do some math and I'll be back with you on that. Okay, so I calculated my pan percentage and it's at 9.6 because there are 5 shadows I have pan in now, and I have 52 eyeshadows in total in my collection. So 9.6 means I'm really close to 10, which I'm very excited to finally get to 10%. That's gonna be really fun and hopefully will happen next month. I don't know about that, but I'll try my best. But yeah, I managed to hit every goal this month, and that's incredible. I'm so hyped. I can't believe I did that. I started project pan those eyeshadows last year, and I wasn't successful in getting any pans until the very end of the project, but I think, well, I know because of that project, I used a lot of the 2 shades that I got rolled in, and so I was able to hit pan on them. So I'm really glad that I did the project last year because it really helped with this year's project. I'm glad I didn't wait till this year to start it because it feels so good to be at 9.6 pan percentage. Yeah, I'm just really excited. So let me show you the footage now of me rolling the dice, and then we'll talk about what shades I rolled in, and I'm very excited. So in this palette, what did I roll? I know what I rolled, but what were the numbers? 10, 20, 22. So I rolled in Sundown, which is very interesting that a lot of my pans are centered right in here. But soon they'll be done, so at least that's fun. So I rolled Sundown, which is this really bright orange. Look at that. So it actually is one of my favorite things to wear with these earrings. So I'll wear Mango and then Sundown a lot. And I did that when I used Mango. And then again when I used Sand. Because on the eye, it makes my shades, especially when I wear Mango, it makes it look neon, which is, these earrings are very neon. And so it really matches the earrings and it's very, very cute. So let me swatch that for you here. Ooh, and it's one of those shades in this palette that feels much more buttery and smooth. Some of the ones in this palette feel really dry and ashy. Same with my Davina, actually. Some of the mattes just feel ashy. Let me give you a second swatch. And I'm not saying that any of these shades necessarily perform badly, especially these mattes. Even when they're dry and flaky, they perform beautifully, but it's just a thing to note. And then the second shade I rolled in was 10, 20, 30, 41. Yeah, 10, 20. Oh, 35, 36. 41 didn't make sense. I was like, what am I talking about? But Starlight is the other shade I rolled in. And it is this really creamy, malleable purple shimmer. As you can see, very malleable. Flakes come off of it all the time. It looks like this. It's so beautiful. And I think this is going to be a super easy shade to hit pan on because it's so flaky and malleable. Every time I've dipped into it, everything pushes to the side. So I think this is going to be really easy to hit pan on. And also, when I swatch my Davina shades, you'll see they look stunning together. So that's this shade right here. It's this shiny purpley pink shade that I actually don't think, if I look, I have a lot of uses on. Yeah, I've only used this 3 times ever in this project, but I still do think it's gonna be a really easy one to roll out. I wish I could show you it in person. It's so beautiful. It's got this like really light, kind of opaque, translucent, my bad. This really like a little bit translucent purple base. And then it's just this beautiful, flaky purple shift. And the purple can go a little bit pink leaning, and it's just so pretty. You can't see it as well. In person, it just looks really shiny, but in person, it's just so beautiful. You can kind of see it when I do this, how flaky and reflective it is. It's stunning, absolutely beautiful. And as you saw, I don't really use it that much because I don't often feel it's in with the purples, and I just never feel like adding this on top of the purples. But when I swatched this color story, when I rolled it in the first time, I realized what other colors I got, which include this purple, which is called, what are you? Vertigo. So this shade, Vertigo, I actually was kind of thinking I didn't like this shade because last time I used it, I tried to blend it into my crease and it was so patchy. So I'm gonna see with this, with my 5 uses, if I even wanna keep it in the project. I'm kind of thinking that Vertigo is gonna be similar to Nemesis as something I can put in my outer crease to darken a look up, but maybe something I shouldn't sweep across my lid. I love a dark look. I love a dramatic look. I don't know if that's obvious, but I love a dramatic look. But I think I might just plop this into the outer corner and see if it works a little better like that. But this is that shade. Let me do a little swatch. These shades, a lot of them do not swatch that well. I'll be honest. I'm not a huge fan of the Divina mattes. I love the colors of them, but a lot of them I just don't love personally. So that's that color. So it's this really, you can see it's really mixed with the purple on my finger a little bit, and it's so pretty with the purple, and I'm so excited to do galaxy looks with it. But then, speaking of a galaxy look, then we have Navel, which is this really dark blue shade. So when we're speaking of galaxy looks, a dark blue is your friend. So that looks like this. It's this very kind of dark wash denim blue color. It's really pretty. I haven't used it in ages. Both of these shades I haven't used in so long, so I'm excited to get some use out of it and see how it performs on the eye, because I haven't done that in absolutely forever. Again, the swatching, not super great, but it doesn't matter how it swatches, it matters how it goes on my eyes. Ooh, there you go. So that's this color. That went on much better as a much better swatch, and it's just this really dark blue, and it's so pretty. And as you can see, it also gives galaxy vibes. And then last but not least is the best black I own. This is such a good black. It's called Karma, and it is so deep and rich and creamy. A lot of these shades are very powdery, or at least becoming very powdery in my collection now. I can't remember if they all started powdery. I know some of them did. I know this one was very powdery. I remember some of these being very powdery, but this has stayed creamy. It is this incredibly dark, pigmented black. This is what it looks like. It's so dark, so pigmented, so freaking beautiful. I love it. And just so we are all clear, I'm going to be using these 4 shades, the bottom 4 shades, pretty much exclusively, and then Sundown, once I finish using these, the Divina shades 5 times each, and then panning this, then I will, if I have time, move on to Sundown. I might use it once or twice just to get some use out of it, but these are going to be my main ones because they're so beautiful. Look at them. So beautiful. Anyway, thank you for watching. This update has been incredible. I cannot believe I managed to get, like, completely reset my project in the first month. That's wacky. And I will see you guys next month. Bye.